Hello, my friends, hello, and welcome once again to the adventurous Vaughn Manor. And today, it's another thrilling episode of The Books That Time Forgot. That's right, my friends, it's time again to go through two more boxes of books. And we'll just keep going through these boxes of books until we've gone through all my books. And it'll happen. It'll happen one of these days. So I am here with my partner in adventure, Roger. Roger, are you all ready to go, my friend? He's looking even more lively than usual, my friend Roger. So off we go. So I grabbed this first box, and this box is full of wild penguins. Yeah, there are a lot of penguins in this box. So that's what we're going to go through. The first box is full of wild penguins. So let's take a look and see what we've got in this box of wild penguins. First is Wilkie Collins. This is No Name. No Name by Wilkie Collins. This is one of Wilkie Collins' more famous books. I have not actually read this Wilkie Collins book yet. Wilkie Collins can be kind of hit or miss, but I hear good things about this one. I heard good things about Armadale too, and well, we'll see. We'll see how this one goes. Here's another Wilkie Collins. This is a copy of The Moonstone, which I got at Half Price Books. The Moonstone. This is one of his more famous books, Wilkie Collins. It's one of his better books, I have to say. It wasn't bad, The Moonstone. Going right along with that, we also have a copy of Ovid, The Metamorphosis. This was the translation by David Rayburn. This is the David Rayburn translation of The Metamorphosis by Ovid. So here we go. This is a really, really, really good book. I haven't read that in forever, though. And I don't know, to tell you the honest truth, I don't know that I read this translation. I think I read, it was like a signet, and I don't even remember who the translator was. It was a while ago. We have here The Travels by Marco Polo. The Travels by Marco Polo. He was the inventor of a famous swimming pool game. Here we go. Christopher Columbus, The Four Voyages. Christopher Columbus, who's not very popular anymore, but this book is worth reading, despite that. Sometimes it's worth reading books by people that you might not like so much. Christopher Columbus, The Four Voyages. We have some Sinclair Lewis hanging out down here. This is Babbitt. Babbitt by Sinclair Lewis. So there was that. Let's see what else we have in here. Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I just read this book earlier in the year before I started doing the BookTube thing. So you would think it would have been a Sunday Penguin by now. I was actually going to do a Sunday Penguin on this, but then I did some other book instead. So I'll do I'll do a Sunday Penguin on this eventually. It was a really good book. I have to say, this is a really good book. I got to read this one again too. This is The Monk by Matthew Lewis. The Monk by Matthew Lewis. This is some book right here. Just full of drama and scandal and perversion. So this is good stuff, The Monk. And this is probably the oldest book I've ever read, The Epic of Gilgamesh. This is an excellent book, this Penguin copy, because it has different versions of this of the story, all put in one volume with the illustrations. This is excellent. I'm really glad Penguin did this. They knocked it out of the park with this one. And we have The Orestia by Aeschylus. The Orestia. Nice cover. I like this one. This one is that's a good cover right there. Good job, Penguin. They don't always get the covers right, but that one was a good cover. James Fenimore Cooper, The Prairie. I have all James Fenimore Cooper books. all of these in the Library of America, so I don't really need these, but I have these anyway. Here you go. The Prairie by James Fenimore Cooper. And now we have someone who doubtless is a David Wiley favorite, I'm sure. This is Gerald of Wales, The History and Topography of Ireland, by this fella who visited Wales in 1183. So yeah, Gerald of Wales, The History and Topography of Ireland. I should read this because it's really short. It's been a while since I looked at it, but I remember when I read it, it was actually a lot better than I thought it would be, to tell you the honest truth. It's really a readable book, actually. Here we got more James Fenimore Cooper, more Natty Bumpo excitement with the Pathfinder right there. And we have some Joseph Conrad with The Shadow Line. The Shadow Line by Joseph Conrad. Now we have what I consider, and I believe I'm probably right on this, the greatest novel ever written. This is my pick for the greatest novel ever written. It's true, I haven't read every novel, so who the hell am I to pick? But in my opinion, from what I've read, this one, The Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky, just a beautiful, beautiful, amazing book. I love this book. It is so good. This book is so good. How have I not done a Sunday Penguin on that? I have no idea. Penguin does some cool stuff, and this is the Penguin book of the Undead. Just look at that cover. How cool is that? That's awesome. The Penguin book of the Undead. They do fun stuff sometimes, Penguin. This is a must-read book of ancient history. This is Appian, the Civil Wars. You have to read this book. You have to. Appian, the Civil Wars. I will be talking about this eventually in a series that I'll be doing on the ancient historians. Spoiler alert. I showed an older version of this. I don't know if it was last week or before. This is the newer version of the Portable Conrad. A newer version of the Portable Conrad. Look at that bizarre cover. I don't know the deal with this cover. This cover seems stupid. This cover seems stupid for this book. I don't know. This is a very... I mean, the cover is good. It's just not good for this book. This is a Plagued by Visions cover right here, not a Joseph Conrad cover. So who knows? But here's the book with a very appropriate cover to the book. And that is this book. This is Nick Jolquin, The Woman Who Had Two Navels, and Tales of the Tropical Gothic. Penguin sometimes just will pull out these really, really interesting books and point out that, hey, this is classic stuff. And they did that with this volume, and I love that cover. That cover is beautiful, beautiful. So there we go. All right, we have a 2-volume set that unfortunately are in 2 different cover designs, but so what? This is Pausanias, Guide to Greece, Volume 1, Central Greece. This is a little out of date, this book. It was written in the 2nd century AD. Let's see if I can get you a better date on this thing. It was during the time that he wrote. Pausanias was a doctor from Greek Asia Minor who devoted 10 or 20 years to traveling in mainland Greece during and after the reign of Hadrian. Okay, I knew it was around here somewhere. Sorry about that awkward pause. But during the reign of Hadrian. So it's been a while. So it's not quite up to date. It's not Rick Steves, this one. But that's okay. It's really good. Pausanias' Guide to Greece, Volume 1. That's Central Greece. And then, of course, you have to get Volume 2, Southern Greece. It's a mammoth if you put them both together. I should read that in 22. Reacquaint myself with old-timey Greece. Here we have Plato, The Last Days of Socrates. You pretty much have to have this in your library, I'm pretty sure. I think it's a law. And a good one. I follow that law and appreciate it. This is Charlotte Perkins Gilman, The Yellow Wallpaper, Herland, and Selected Writings. Has Herland in this, so it's a good book. Clever illustration there. H.G. Wells, Love and Mr. Lewisham. Yes, Love and Mr. Lewisham. Not one of his science fiction novels, this one, but still, good book. I have talked about this. This is one of my very first Sunday Penguins. One of my very first was this one, Planet of the Apes by Pierre Boulle. This is a hell of a book, guys. A hell of a book. Why doesn't Penguin have an American edition of this? Because they can be stupid. There's no other reason. Planet of the Apes, fantastic book. It's a definite classic. I bought myself a fancy version of Planet of the Apes, but of course I still have the Penguin Classics version that was released in the UK and not here. Bitterness. Okay, here is more H.G. Wells, The Shape of Things to Come. The Shape of Things to Come by H.G. Wells. Okay, and now we have more Plutarch. I've showed some Plutarch, but this is Plutarch, The Age of Alexander. The Age of Alexander by Plutarch. And we have Petronius, The Satyricon and the Fragments. There we go. This was a weird book. This was a weird book, this one. The New York Trilogy by Paul Auster. The New York Trilogy. Okay, what else do I have in this here book? I've got this book right here. This is Rustum. Rustum. Tales of Love and War from the Shahnameh. Shahnameh? Rustum. There we go. And we have Thucydides, The History of the... What? Never mind my terrible dog. Thucydides, The History of the Peloponnesian War. Must read stuff. I have a better edition of it, though, which I will be showing you soon. And here, inexplicably, is just one volume of M.R. James, The Haunted... Penguin came in 2 volumes. They're M.R. James. I don't know why. This is half of it. The Haunted Doll's House and Other Ghost Stories. I talked about this on the Sunday Penguin, along with the other half. And this is an interesting book. This is Angela Carter's The Bloody Chamber. The Bloody Chamber. I should read this again, The Bloody Chamber, because it was so weird and cool. Cool and weird. So that's one box. That's the Penguin box. I'm going to go get a box that is not Penguin now. Hold on, guys. Okay, we're back, Roger. More fun. More fun with me and Roger and adventure and books. So I have a little box that I pulled from the vault of science fiction. I have to show all my books. That means I have to go occasionally down to the vault of ancient science fiction. So you might have seen some of these books because, you know, all this stuff is mixed up. Some of these I've done book hauls and stuff from eBay, and so you might have seen some of this stuff, but for the completionist, I will show it again because it all got mixed up when I packed this stuff. So what do we have? Oh, okay. Got some anthologies here that look like they are in order. This is the best science fiction of 1967. The best science fiction of 1967. This is from the series that was edited by Harry Harrison, and this one is also edited by Brian W. Aldiss. So this is the best science fiction from 1967, in case you were curious. There it is. And we also have the best science fiction of 1968, also by Harrison and Aldiss. And the next one in the series is 69. Look at that little dude. 69. And 1970. Yeah. Best science fiction stories from 1970, the year before I was born. Let's see what else we have. I've definitely talked about some of these before. This is Galactic Derelict. I love this cover. This is just one of the best science fiction covers ever. they reused this cover on an anthology, and I understand why. Because look how cool Galactic Derelict is, by Andre Norton. That's awesome. And of course, every box has to have Robert E. Howard in it. Has to. And this one is no exception. This is Beyond the Borders. This is Beyond the Borders by Robert E. Howard. This is one of the Bayan books collections of short stories. Good stuff. Beyond the Borders. And we also have Bow Down to Null. This is an ace double. Look at that awesome cover. That's Null, but this guy's not bowing down to Null. No. And on the other side, we've got The Dark Destroyers by Manly Wade Wellman. This is an abridged version. Can't get the full classic, but I'll take what I can get. And look how awesome that is. This guy, he's fighting for his life. This guy in The Dark Destroyers, I want to read this right now. Every time I go through these, they're so beautiful. I want to read them all. This is The Scheme of Things by Lester Del Rey. The Scheme of Things. Can a man really live and die more than once? No, he can't. Just so you know, Lester Del Rey. It'd be cool though, if you could. More Robert E. Howard, Bran Mac Morn. Bran Mac Morn. This is the Pictish Tales. This is the first complete edition. There's a better edition now that I just showed yesterday, but here we go. This is an older Bayan version of that. Awesome. Awesome. It's Robert E. Howard, so it's awesome. This is a character I didn't talk about, Cormac Mac Art. Probably because he never really did much with this character. This has an all-new story by David Drake, which is interesting. Not much on this character that Howard wrote, and so it's all filled with other people's writings to fill out the Cormac Mac Art saga. But hey, it's worth a read, man, that's for sure. Now we've got some Harry Harrison, War with the Robots. War with the Robots by Harry Harrison. Yeah, I know I showed some of this stuff before. Like this one, The Best from Fantasy and Science Fiction. The Best from Fantasy and Science Fiction, 3rd series. Yeah. This is a great book. This is Edmund Hamilton's What's It Like Out There. I know I've showed this one before. It's beat to hell, but it's a great collection of this guy's stories. Edmund Hamilton, What's It Like Out There? Good stuff. And now we've got The Legion of Space by Jack Williamson. The Legion of Space by Jack Williamson. Got some The Best of Kootner here. Henry Kootner. The Best of Henry Kootner. 1. Best of Henry Kootner 1. So there's that. This was a popular character from C.L. Moore. This was Northwest Smith. This is a very 80s looking Northwest Smith. A much older character from the pulps, looking very 80s in this edition. Northwest Smith. Or early 90s. It could be early 90s. We've got another double here. This is The Seed of Earth. The Seed of Earth by Robert Silverberg. On the flip side, we've got the Next Stop the Stars by Robert Silverberg. So a couple good Robert Silverberg in this double. This one, I think Working Man Reads pulled this out recently, and it's really a good book. This is Between Time and Terror. This is an excellent anthology of horror science fiction stories. Dean Koontz, Isaac Asimov, Arthur C. Clarke, Robert Heinlein, and Clyde Barker in here with a bunch of others. It's awesome. Great science fiction horror tales. Awesome. Then we have some Murray Leinster. This is Creatures from the Abyss by Murray Leinster. Or Murray Leinster. I'm not sure I've ever heard that name pronounced other than me talking about him. Then we've got The Planet Explorer by Murray Leinster. The Planet Explorer. Boy, these two boxes are pretty different. These are very different boxes. Then we've got A. Merritt, The 7 Footprints of Satan. 7 Footprints of Satan. You can barely make out that cover. This is so beat up. Then we've got Robert Heinlein's Red Planet. Robert Heinlein's Red Planet. Then we've got Race to the Stars. This was a good anthology. I really enjoyed this one. Edited by Leo Margulis and Oscar J. Friend. There's just 4 novellas in here by different writers. Next, we've got Zekarpth by Clark Ashton Smith. This is one of the Ballantine fantasy series edited by Lynn Carter. Whatever else you might say about Lynn Carter, he was a very good editor and he knew good stuff when he read it. So this is a good Clark Ashton Smith book right there. And we've got more Heinlein. This is the Puppet Masters by Heinlein. The Puppet Masters. I like that one. And then we've got Orbit Number 1, which is an old paperback anthology by Damon Knight. Orbit Number 1. This is a fun box. This is Richard Matheson and some of his science fiction-y stuff. The Shores of Space. There's a lot of horror in here. You know, his science fiction-y stuff was horror science fiction-y stuff, basically. It's Richard Matheson. You can't help it. Good stuff in this book. More stuff. The Hunter Out of Time by Gardner F. Fox. The Hunter Out of Time. You didn't like this book? Roger, do you think you could stop being so dramatic? Just let me get through this one more box, okay? Just chill. Man, Roger's such a drama queen. Okay, off we go. We were only partially done with that box. Where was I? Oh, yes. I was at, this one I guess got lost. This is the best science fiction from that same series I was showing earlier from 1971. The greatest year in American history. That's the year I was born. So there's that. Then we've got Beyond the Fields We Know by Lord Dunsany. Beyond the Fields We Know. Beautiful, beautiful writing. Lord Dunsany. What can you say? Wonderful writer. Then we forgot City at World's End by Edmund Hamilton. This is a hell of a book. I like this book an awful lot. And we've got more Edmund Hamilton with Crashing Suns. Look at that terrifying dude and how not terrifying he is. Oh well. Crashing Suns by Edmund Hamilton. Space opera at its best. We've got more. Actually, this is Manly Wade Wellman here. This is The Solar Invasion by Manly Wade Wellman. The Solar Invasion by Manly Wade Wellman. Excellent stuff. Okay, this is more Edmund Hamilton. This is Outlaws of the Moon. Outlaws of the Moon. And this actually stars Captain Future. This is a Captain Future story. It doesn't say, but it is. Now we have more Gardner Fox, the writer of... You're not going to jump out of your seat, are you? Warrior of Larn by Gardner F. Fox. He's a big fan. He gets excited when I pull out the writer of the classic Justice League stories. Out of My Mind by John Brunner. Out of My Mind. Now we have more Lord Dunsany in the Ballantine Fantasy series edited by Lynn Carter. This is At the Edge of the World. It's wonderful. This is a wonderful book. And more Lord Dunsany. The King of Elfland's Daughter. The King of Elfland's Daughter by Lord Dunsany. And we've got Clark Ashton Smith, Out of Space and Time, Volume 2. Look at that cool old cover. Look how creepy. It's good stuff. It's Clark Ashton Smith. Now we've got some more cool stuff here. The Future in Question, which is an anthology by Isaac Asimov, Martin Greenberg, and Joseph Olander, with an introduction by Isaac Asimov. This is a beautiful copy of a wonderful book. This is Dandelion Wine, Ray Bradbury. I love these old copies. Just look at that. Look how beautiful that is. That is so cool. Ray Bradbury, man, the best. I talked about this book recently. Here's the paperback version. This is The Killer Thing by Kate Wilhelm. The Killer Thing. The Killer Thing. Such a good book. Man. Then we've got Space Slash by Hal Clement. Space Slash. Okay, just 4 more books, guys. Just 4 more books. And one is a popular science fiction book at one time, Mutant by Henry Kuttner. Mutant by Henry Kuttner. Good book, man. Then we've got Doomstar by Edmund Hamilton. Doomstar. Keith Laumer, A Plague of Demons. A Plague of Demons. And, at long last, the very last book of this very long Books That Time Forgot. This is my favorite horror story. The masters of horror like Robert Bloch, Richard Matheson, just a ton of great writers in here. Ramsey Campbell, Edgar Allan Poe, and they're chosen by Stephen King, F. Paul Wilson, and Richard Lehman. Richard Lehman chose a story in here. Peter Straub, Joyce Carol Oates, and Dennis Etchison. So they chose their favorite horror story, and it's an awesome book, as it would be. There you go. A particularly exciting version of the Books That Time Forgot. I will see you next time here at the Adventurous Von Manor.